The research complex stood as a testament to human determination, a gleaming structure of glass and advanced composites rising from the reclaimed wasteland. Outside, solar arrays and wind turbines stretched across rehabilitated landscapes, a symbol of humanity's resilience in the face of near-total environmental collapse. Dr. Sofia Martinez watched the holographic displays flicker with quantum data, her fingers tracing complex patterns across the interactive surface. Around her, a diverse team of researchers from every continent worked in seamless collaboration, their backgrounds as varied as the challenges they sought to overcome. "Something's different," she muttered, zooming into a microscopic quantum interaction that defied everything known about particle behavior. The Global Research Initiative had been humanity's last-ditch effort to survive. Climate disasters, resource depletion, and near-total economic collapse had forced nations to put aside centuries of conflict. Survival demanded unprecedented cooperation, and in that crucible of necessity, something extraordinary emerged. Dr. Marcus Williams' approach, his augmented neural interface casting a soft blue glow around his temples. "What are you seeing?" he asked, years of collaborative research evident in the easy way they communicated. Sophia's hands moved rapidly, reconstructing the quantum data. "These particle interactions, they're not random. There's a pattern, but it's unlike anything in our current models." She pulled up multiple visualizations, showing intricate dance-like movements of quantum particles that seemed to defy the fundamental laws of physics. The research complex hummed with anticipation. Humanity had always been at its best when facing impossible challenges. What began as a desperate attempt to develop more efficient communication technologies was transforming into something far more significant. Unbeknownst to the researchers, their work was being monitored from light years away. The Astral Concordance, a vast interstellar alliance that had observed countless emerging civilizations, had long considered humanity a footnote in cosmic evolution. Their massive communication arrays picked up the quantum anomalies, triggering immediate investigation. On a distant monitoring station, alien scientists reviewed the data with a mixture of confusion and mild amusement. Sel Naga, the lead researcher of the observation team, adjusted translucent sensory tendrils over his holographic display. Another developing species experimenting with quantum mechanics, he commented to his assistant. "Primitive, but occasionally interesting." Back on Earth, the research team worked through the night. Sophia's breakthrough represented more than just a scientific discovery. It was a lifeline, a potential solution to humanity's desperate need for advanced communication and energy technologies. "Look at the coherence," Marcus pointed out, highlighting a section of the quantum interaction. "These particles are maintaining quantum entanglement far longer than any previous observations. It's like they're communicating." The implications were staggering. If they could understand this pattern, they could revolutionize everything from data transmission to energy production. More importantly, it represented hope, a characteristic humanity had in abundance. Outside the research complex, the world continued its slow process of healing. Reforestation projects, sustainable megacities, and global cooperative initiatives showed that humanity had learned from its near destruction. The same spirit of adaptation that had helped them survive ecological disaster was now pushing the boundaries of scientific understanding. As the first rays of dawn broke over the research center, Sophia realized they were on the verge of something momentous. The quantum anomaly was more than a scientific curiosity. It was a signal, a potential bridge to understanding the universe in ways never before imagined. Little did they know that their work was about to attract attention from beyond the stars. Attention that would change the course of human history forever. The first communication from the Astral Concordance arrived precisely 3 weeks after Sophia's quantum discovery. It came not as a message, but as a complex data stream that initially appeared to be nothing more than mathematical noise. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the team's lead communication specialist, spent days decoding the transmission. Her workspace became a maze of holographic displays, quantum decryption algorithms dancing across screens that wrapped around her workstation. The rest of the research team watched with a mixture of anticipation and exhaustion, fueled by synthetic caffeine and an unshakable sense of purpose. "It's not just a message," Elena announced one morning, her voice crackling with excitement. "It's a test." The Astral Concordance had a long-established protocol for engaging with emerging civilizations. First contact was never about direct communication, but about assessing a species' technological and cognitive capabilities. Their transmission was deliberately complex, a technological gauntlet thrown down to measure humanity's potential. Marcus studied the decoded fragments. "They're offering limited technological exchange," he said, his neural interface parsing the data faster than any human could manually process. "But it's not a gift. It's a carefully constructed puzzle." The alien offer came with intricate restrictions. Advanced communication technologies, energy generation algorithms, and basic stellar navigation data would be provided, but only if humanity could demonstrate sufficient understanding and adaptation. It was less an invitation and more of a challenge. Global leadership convened an emergency summit. Representatives from every continent gathered in a massive holographic conference chamber, their images projected from research centers, government facilities, and orbital stations. The diversity of human experience was on full display. Scientists, diplomats, engineers, and cultural experts all united by a singular goal. "We cannot simply accept their terms," warned Dr. Kimberly Chen, representing the Global Science Consortium. "But we cannot reject them either." The challenge required a uniquely human approach, where other civilizations might respond with rigid scientific protocols or diplomatic posturing. Humanity saw an opportunity for collaborative problem-solving. Sophia's quantum research team began working on their response. They didn't just aim to solve the Astral Concordance's technological puzzle, they sought to redefine the very nature of the challenge. Weeks of intense work followed. The team developed a revolutionary communication protocol that went beyond simply decoding the alien transmission. They created a dynamic response system that could adapt in real time, learning and evolving with each interaction. "It's not about proving we're as good as they are," Sophia explained during a global broadcast. "It's about showing them we're something entirely different." The response they crafted was a masterpiece of innovation. It incorporated elements of quantum entanglement, adaptive learning algorithms, and a unique approach to information exchange that reflected humanity's most remarkable trait: the ability to see connections where others saw only barriers. When the transmission was sent, it carried more than just data. It was a statement of human potential, complex, unpredictable, and fundamentally optimistic. In the observation stations of the Astral Concordance, alien scientists found themselves genuinely surprised. The human response was unlike anything in their millennia of monitoring emerging civilizations. It wasn't just a solution to their challenge. It was a complete reimagining of the challenge itself. Zelnaga, the lead observer, felt something close to excitement. "They're not following the script," he communicated to his colleagues. "They're writing their own." The global research team watched and waited. They knew this was more than a technological exchange. This was humanity's first real step into a larger cosmic community. Outside the research complex, the world continued its transformation. Sustainable cities rose from previously damaged landscapes. Global cooperation had become more than a necessity, it was a way of life. The same spirit that had helped humanity survive ecological collapse now propelled them towards the stars. As the first response from the Astral Concordance began to arrive, Sophia and her team knew their real journey was just beginning. The Interstellar Diplomatic Summit materialized as a massive holographic construct suspended in the neutral space between Earth and the nearest Astral Concordance outpost. Delegates from every human research center, government, and cultural group prepared for the most significant negotiation in human history. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of the human delegation, her neural interface subtly collecting and processing information faster than any traditional diplomatic approach could manage. Around her, a carefully selected team represented the depth and diversity of human experience. not just scientists and politicians, but philosophers, cultural experts, and innovative thinkers. The Astral Concordance's delegation arrived as a collective consciousness, a shimmering holographic representation of multiple alien species interconnected through advanced neural networks. Where human delegates saw individuals, the aliens presented a unified, almost mechanical presence. Your species has demonstrated an unexpected capacity for technological adaptation, the lead alien representative communicated, its voice a complex harmonic that translated through advanced linguistic algorithms. But adaptation is not the same as understanding. Elena smiled, a subtle, calculated gesture carefully studied and prepared. Human communication was far more than words or mathematical exchanges. It was about connection, empathy, and the ability to see beyond immediate perspectives. The first challenge came quickly. The Astral Concordance presented a complex series of diplomatic scenarios, intricate puzzles designed to test humanity's approach to interstellar negotiations. Each scenario was a multi-layered challenge that previous civilizations had failed, typically responding with either aggressive posturing or complete submission. Humanity's response was breathtaking in its originality. Instead of attempting to solve each scenario individually, the human delegation began to approach the challenges as interconnected problems. Where the alien representatives expected linear thinking, humans introduced adaptive strategies that transformed the entire framework of the negotiation. Dr. Marcus Williams, a specialist in cross-cultural communication, took the lead in one critical exchange. Your scenarios assume a singular path to resolution, he explained, but complexity requires multiple perspectives. The human team began to demonstrate something the Astral Concordance had never encountered, a truly collaborative approach to problem-solving. Each delegate brought a unique perspective, creating a dynamic, fluid intelligence that was greater than any individual contribution. Cultural experts reframed diplomatic challenges through historical and philosophical lenses. Scientists introduced innovative communication models. Economists proposed adaptive resource-sharing strategies. Each contribution transformed the negotiation from a test of capabilities to a genuine exploration of potential cooperation. The alien delegates found themselves increasingly disoriented. Their advanced neural networks, designed to predict and control diplomatic interactions, began to struggle with the unpredictability of human communication. They are not following any established protocol, one alien representative communicated to another. The translation algorithms barely captured the sense of confusion. Midway through the summit, a breakthrough emerged. The human delegation proposed a revolutionary approach to interstellar cooperation that went beyond traditional technological or resource exchanges. They presented a model of mutual growth, where different civilizations could learn from each other's unique capabilities. Sophia, observing from the research center on Earth, watched the negotiations with a sense of profound hope. This was more than a diplomatic meeting. It was a reimagining of how intelligent species could interact. The Astral Concordance had anticipated many potential human responses. They had prepared for aggression, for submission, for technological bartering. But they had not prepared for genuine, empathetic collaboration. As the first day of negotiations concluded, the alien delegates found themselves fundamentally challenged. Humanity had not just participated in the diplomatic summit, they had transformed its entire purpose. We do not seek to conquer or be conquered, Elena Rodriguez stated in the summit's closing moments. We seek to understand, to grow, and to create something greater than ourselves. The holographic construct shimmered with potential, a bridge between civilizations, created through the most unexpected of means. The research facility gleamed like a crystal beneath the protective dome, its walls alive with adaptive materials that shifted and reconfigured based on environmental and technological needs. Dr. Sofia Rodriguez stood at the center of humanity's most ambitious technological development project, watching as quantum adaptive nanosystems began their intricate dance. What started as a limited technology exchange with the Astral Concordance had become something far more revolutionary. Human researchers had taken the fragmentary technologies offered by the Alien Alliance and transformed them completely, creating hybrid systems that defied every known technological paradigm. Marcus Williams approached, his neural interface casting a soft blue glow around his temples. "The latest simulation results are beyond anything we anticipated," he said, pulling up holographic displays that danced with impossible geometric patterns. The nanosystems represented a breakthrough that terrified and fascinated the astral concordance. Unlike traditional technological development, these adaptive systems could completely reconfigure themselves in real time, learning and evolving with each interaction. Where alien technologies were precise and fixed, human innovations embraced uncertainty and change. Dr. Elena Chen, leading the materials science team, explained the core innovation during a global broadcast. "We're not just developing a technology," she said, her voice calm and passionate. "We're creating a living system of knowledge and adaptation." The project drew researchers from every corner of the globe. Climate engineers worked alongside quantum physicists. Social scientists collaborated with nanotechnology experts. Each team brought a unique perspective, creating a collaborative approach that was distinctly human. Their first major test came unexpectedly. A massive solar storm threatened communication systems across multiple research stations. Where traditional technologies would fail, the new adaptive nanosystems began to reconfigure themselves, creating dynamic protective networks that not only survived the solar interference, but actually improved communication capabilities. The astral concordance monitoring stations detected the phenomenon with growing concern. Their carefully controlled technology exchange was producing results far beyond their predictions. Helnaga, the lead alien observer, reviewed the data with increasing confusion. "They are not simply using the technology," he communicated to his colleagues. "They are reimagining the very concept of technological development." In orbit around Earth, experimental space stations became living laboratories of innovation. Adaptive habitats shifted and changed, responding to environmental challenges in real time. Communication networks developed neural-like patterns of resilience and learning. The breakthrough went beyond mere technological innovation. It represented a fundamental difference in how humanity approached problem-solving. Where other civilizations saw technology as a fixed set of tools, humans viewed it as a living, evolving system of potential. Sophia watched as a nanosystem demonstration revealed its most remarkable feature. Given a complex problem, the system didn't just find a solution. It created multiple potential solutions, constantly learning and adapting. It was almost like watching a living intelligence at work. "We're not just developing technology," she often told her team. "We're learning a new way of understanding the universe." The Global Research Initiative had transformed from a survival mechanism into something far more profound. It was a testament to human resilience, creativity, and an unshakable belief in collective potential. News of the breakthrough spread rapidly. Research centers around the world celebrated not just the technological achievement, but the collaborative spirit that made it possible. Schools began redesigning curricula to foster the kind of adaptive, collaborative thinking that had made this innovation possible. The astral concordance began to realize that their initial assessment of humanity had been fundamentally flawed. This was not a primitive civilization to be controlled or studied. This was a dynamic, evolving intelligence that challenged every existing understanding of technological development. As the first adaptive nanosystem prototypes prepared for larger-scale testing, humanity stood on the brink of a technological revolution that would reshape their understanding of innovation, collaboration, and potential. The first wave of resistance came not from the stars, but from within human civilization itself. As the adaptive technologies developed by the research team began to spread, fear and uncertainty rippled through global societies. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the United Global Council, her presentation holographic displays showing the intricate potential of their technological developments. Around her, representatives from every continent watched with a mixture of hope and apprehension. "This isn't about control," she explained, her voice calm and deliberate. This is about our collective ability to adapt, to grow, to overcome challenges we haven't even imagined yet. The Astral Concordance's response was more calculated. Recognizing the potential threat of human innovation, they began implementing subtle technological barriers. Communication channels became more restricted. Advanced research data streams were intermittently interrupted. But humanity had learned something profound during its near collapse and recovery. True strength came from collaboration and adaptive thinking. Marcus Williams led a global team of researchers who began developing communication protocols that could bypass the alien-imposed restrictions. Where the Astral Concordance expected linear resistance, humans created a network of innovation that was fluid, dynamic, and nearly impossible to control. Research stations around the world transformed into collaborative hubs. A researcher in Sao Paulo could instantly share insights with colleagues in Tokyo, Stockholm, and Cape Town. The neural interfaces developed by the team created a global intelligence network that was greater than any individual contribution. The first major test came when the Astral Concordance attempted to limit technological exchange. Instead of fighting directly, human researchers began creating open-source innovations that spread faster than they could be controlled. Sophia Chen, leading the global communication strategy, explained their approach during a breakthrough press conference. "We're not trying to compete," she said. "We're trying to demonstrate that innovation is not a zero-sum game." Experimental research stations began appearing in unexpected locations. Abandoned urban centers were transformed into cutting-edge research hubs. Communities that had once been most vulnerable became centers of technological innovation. The adaptive nanosystems developed earlier proved crucial. They could reconfigure communication networks, create alternative data transmission methods, and develop entirely new approaches to technological challenges. Zelniga and the other alien observers watched with increasing concern. Humanity was not responding to technological suppression in any way their models could predict. Instead of becoming frustrated or aggressive, humans were becoming more innovative, more collaborative. A critical moment arrived when the Astral Concordance attempted to isolate certain research facilities. Instead of fighting the blockade directly, human researchers created a distributed network of communication that made traditional blocking methods obsolete. They're rewriting the rules of technological development. One alien observer noted, a sense of genuine respect emerging in their communication. The Global Research Initiative had become something more than a scientific endeavor. It was a movement, a collective expression of human potential. Schools began integrating adaptive thinking into their core curricula. Communities started developing local innovation centers that could respond to specific environmental and social challenges. Dr. Rodriguez reflected on the journey during a quiet moment in the research facility. Humanity had transformed from a species on the brink of self-destruction to a civilization of adaptive innovators. The challenges of climate change, resource depletion, and global conflict had forced a fundamental reimagining of human potential. The resistance from the Astral Concordance had an unexpected effect. Instead of slowing human progress, it had accelerated it. Each attempted limitation became an opportunity for innovation. Each communication barrier became a chance to develop more sophisticated networking technologies. As the first year of extended technological development concluded, the world looked different. Cities were becoming living, adaptive systems. Communication networks functioned more like neural systems than traditional infrastructure. The line between technology and living systems was becoming increasingly blurred. Humanity had not just survived. They had discovered a new way of existing, collaborative, adaptive, and fundamentally optimistic. The quantum resonance event began without warning, a moment that would forever mark the transition of humanity from a planetary civilization to something entirely unprecedented. Deep within the global research network, Dr. Marcus Williams noticed the first anomalous readings. The adaptive communication systems they had developed were generating a quantum signal that defied every known scientific model. Holographic displays erupted with complex patterns of light and data, creating mathematical landscapes that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. "This is beyond anything we've seen," He communicated to the global research team, his neural interface transmitting data faster than traditional communication could ever manage. The astral concordance monitoring stations detected the phenomenon simultaneously. Their vast array of sensors picked up a quantum resonance that seemed to originate from multiple points simultaneously, a technological impossibility by every standard they understood. Sofia Rodriguez coordinated the global response from the Central Research Hub. Teams from research centers across the planet began to synchronize, their collective intelligence creating a network more complex than any single group could comprehend. The quantum signal carried more than just information. It represented a fundamental restructuring of how intelligent systems could communicate and evolve. Where previous technologies transmitted data, this new system seemed to create living networks of knowledge that could adapt, learn, and transform in real time. Zelnaga, the lead alien observer, watched with a mixture of terror and fascination. They are not just developing a technology. The alien communicated to its colleagues. They are becoming something entirely new. The turning point came during a 72-hour period that would later be known as the quantum convergence. Research teams around the world experienced simultaneous breakthroughs across multiple scientific disciplines. Climate restoration technologies integrated with communication networks. Medical research synchronized with quantum computing systems. Energy production merged with adaptive environmental management. What appeared chaotic from the outside was actually the most sophisticated collaborative intelligence ever witnessed. Humanity was creating a living technological ecosystem that challenged every existing understanding of scientific development. Elena Chen, leading the global communication strategy, described it as a collective awakening. Traditional barriers between scientific disciplines dissolved. A researcher studying marine ecosystems could instantly contribute insights to quantum physics projects. An urban planner could collaborate with genetic engineers in ways that were previously unimaginable. The astral concordance found their monitoring systems increasingly compromised. The human communication network was no longer something that could be observed from the outside. It was a dynamic, living system that adapted faster than any external analysis could track. Critical global challenges began to find unexpected solutions. Climate restoration technologies accelerated beyond previous projections. Medical research developed adaptive treatments that could respond to individual genetic profiles in real time. Energy production transformed into a distributed, self-managing system that worked in harmony with local ecosystems. "We are not fighting the challenges," Sophia explained during a global broadcast. "We are becoming the solution." The quantum resonance carried something more profound than technological innovation. It represented a fundamental shift in how intelligence could function. Humanity was creating a collaborative system of knowledge that was greater than any individual contribution. Research stations around the world became living laboratories of possibility. The line between technology, biology, and collective intelligence began to blur. Cities started to function more like adaptive organisms. Communication networks developed neural-like patterns of resilience and learning. For the astral concordance, the event represented a complete reassessment of their understanding of emerging civilizations. Humanity was not following any known developmental path. They were creating something entirely new. As the 72-hour period concluded, the global research network had transformed. It was no longer just a collection of research centers, but a living, breathing system of collective intelligence. Humanity had done more than develop a new technology. They had reimagined the very concept of technological and social development. The turning point was not a moment of conquest. It was a moment of collective potential, a demonstration that true innovation comes from collaboration, adaptability, and an unshakable belief in collective growth. The ripples of humanity's quantum breakthrough spread across the cosmos faster than any traditional communication method could track. Research stations and diplomatic outposts watched in awe as the human approach to civilization began to reshape interstellar dynamics. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the Interstellar Collaborative Council, a holographic representation that connected representatives from multiple emerging and established civilizations. The chamber shimmered with adaptive interfaces that responded to emotional and intellectual currents of the discussion. "We are not seeking to replace existing systems," she explained, her words translated simultaneously into multiple linguistic and conceptual frameworks. "We are offering a new approach to collective growth." The Astral Concordance, once a rigid and controlling galactic alliance, found itself fundamentally transformed. Their monitoring systems, designed to control and limit emerging civilizations, had become obsolete. Human technological and social development defied every existing model of civilizational progress. Marcus Williams led a team that developed adaptive diplomatic protocols. Where previous interstellar negotiations relied on fixed protocols and rigid communication methods, humans introduced flexible frameworks that could evolve in real time. Diplomatic exchanges became living conversations, capable of addressing complex challenges with unprecedented creativity. Research centers on Earth had transformed into global collaborative hubs. What once might have been isolated scientific disciplines now functioned as an interconnected network of knowledge. A breakthrough in marine ecology could instantly inform urban planning. Quantum physics research could provide insights into social development strategies. Sophia Chen coordinated the global initiative that began reshaping interstellar cooperation. Instead of technological exchange, humanity proposed a radical new model of collaborative development. Emerging civilizations found themselves invited into a network of shared knowledge and mutual growth. Zelnaga, once a stern observer of humanity, now became a key advocate for the new approach. The alien representative explained to its colleagues that humanity had discovered something profound. True progress came from collaboration, not control. The transformation extended beyond technological development. Human approaches to social organization began to influence other civilizations. Adaptive governance models replaced rigid bureaucratic systems. Educational frameworks became dynamic learning networks that could respond to changing global and interstellar challenges. Experimental research stations appeared in unexpected locations. Abandoned urban centers became centers of innovative development. Communities that had once been most vulnerable now led breakthrough research initiatives. The line between scientific research, social development, and technological innovation became increasingly blurred. Critical global challenges found unprecedented solutions. Climate restoration technologies advanced rapidly. Medical research developed adaptive treatments that could respond to individual and collective needs. Energy production transformed into a distributed, self-managing system that worked in harmony with local and planetary ecosystems. The Interstellar Collaborative Council became a living demonstration of humanity's approach. Instead of fixed representatives, the Council used adaptive communication networks that could bring in experts and perspectives from across different civilizations in real time. "We are not trying to lead," Elena explained during a critical session. "We are trying to create a collaborative framework where every civilization can contribute its unique potential." Research teams from different planets began to develop collaborative projects that transcended traditional boundaries. A marine biologist from Earth could instantly share insights with ecological researchers from a water-based planet. Quantum physicists could collaborate across light years, creating a truly galactic network of knowledge. The human approach challenged fundamental assumptions about technological and social development. Where previous civilizations saw progress as a competitive process, humans demonstrated that true advancement came from collective growth and mutual understanding. Cities began to function more like adaptive organisms. Communication networks developed neural-like patterns of resilience and learning. The distinction between technology, biology, and collective intelligence continued to blur. For emerging civilizations, humanity offered a new model of development. It was not about achieving technological superiority, but about creating collaborative frameworks that could address complex challenges. As the first decade of interstellar collaboration concluded, the cosmos looked fundamentally different. The rigid hierarchies that had defined galactic civilization for millennia began to dissolve. A new approach to collective growth emerged, one that valued adaptability, collaboration, and shared potential. Humanity had not conquered the stars. They had invited the stars to grow together. The research complex stood as a testament to humanity's journey, a living structure that breathed with adaptive technologies and collective intelligence. Dr. Sofia Rodriguez walked through its corridors, reflecting on the transformative decades that had reshaped human civilization and its place in the cosmos. Holographic displays traced the intricate network of global and interstellar collaborations. What had begun as a desperate attempt to survive planetary challenges had evolved into a profound reimagining of intelligent existence. The quantum breakthrough that once seemed like a mysterious anomaly was now understood as something far more significant. Humanity had discovered that intelligence was not a fixed state, but a dynamic, collaborative process of continuous growth and adaptation. Marcus Williams joined Sophia, their neural interfaces creating a subtle communication network that transcended traditional conversation. "We're still just beginning," he said, his thoughts translating almost instantaneously into shared understanding. The Global Research Initiative had transformed every aspect of human civilization. Educational systems were no longer about storing knowledge, but about creating adaptive learning networks. Governance had become a fluid, responsive process that could address complex challenges in real time. Economic models prioritized collective growth over individual accumulation. Hazel Naga, now a close collaborator rather than an observer, provided insights into how humanity's approach was reshaping interstellar understanding. The alien representative explained that most civilizations viewed development as a linear process. Humans had demonstrated that true progress was a dynamic, interconnected web of potential. Research stations across multiple planets now functioned as collaborative hubs. A breakthrough in sustainable agriculture on Earth could instantly inform ecological restoration projects on distant worlds. Medical researchers developed adaptive treatments that could respond to the unique biological needs of multiple species. The challenges that once seemed insurmountable, climate change, resource scarcity, social inequality, had been transformed through collective innovation. Cities became living ecosystems. Energy production worked in harmony with natural systems. Communication networks function more like neural systems than traditional infrastructure. Delina Chen led a global initiative that explored the deeper philosophical implications of humanity's journey. "We are not separate from the challenges we face," she often explained. "We are part of a living, adaptive system of potential." The quantum communication networks that had once seemed impossible now formed the backbone of interstellar collaboration. Researchers could share insights across light years, creating a truly galactic network of knowledge. The boundaries between technological innovation, biological adaptation, and collective intelligence continued to blur. For emerging civilizations, humanity offered a model of development that was fundamentally different from previous approaches. It was not about achieving technological superiority, but about creating collaborative frameworks that could address complex challenges. The original research team that had initiated the quantum breakthrough became legendary figures, not as conquering heroes, but as catalysts of a new way of understanding collective potential. Their work had demonstrated that true innovation came from collaboration, adaptability, and an unshakable belief in collective growth. Experimental research centers appeared in unexpected locations. Communities that had once been most vulnerable now led breakthrough research initiatives. The global network had created a more equitable approach to knowledge and technological development. As humanity approached the next frontier of exploration, the focus was not on conquest or individual achievement. It was about creating collaborative frameworks that could address challenges yet unimagined. The quantum breakthrough had revealed something profound about intelligence itself. It was not a fixed state to be achieved, but a dynamic process of continuous growth and adaptation. Humanity had discovered that true potential emerged from collaboration, empathy, and the ability to see connections where others saw only barriers. Sophia reflected on the journey that had brought humanity to this point. From the brink of environmental collapse to a civilization that was reshaping understanding of intelligent existence, the transformation was beyond anything previous generations could have imagined. The research complex around her was more than a building. It was a living representation of humanity's potential, adaptive, collaborative, and fundamentally optimistic. As the first interstellar exploration vessels prepared for their most ambitious journey yet, humanity stood at the threshold of a new understanding. They were not conquering the cosmos. They were inviting the cosmos to grow together. The story of human potential was still unfolding, a continuous process of discovery, collaboration, and transformation.